Welcome back to the deep dive. You guys asked for it and we deliver. Today we're diving deep into, get this, Danish trade with Indonesia. Ooh, getting specific. We've got some intriguing data straight from the horse's mouth. Well, from trade statistics to be exact. This report, it's called, hold on, Sam Handels Notits Indonesian.pdf. Not the catchiest title, but
Right.
who are we to judge a data-packed treasure by its cover?
Right. Data over flash, always.
So buckle up because we're about to uncover some serious insights about this trade partnership. We're talking the scale of the whole thing, the big wins, the head-scratchers, and maybe even a, wait, they trade what? Moment or two?
I'm already intrigued, though I gotta admit, when I think Indonesia, Denmark isn't the first trading partner that springs to mind. So before we even get to those numbers, why Indonesia is such a hot prospect for Denmark?
$1 million question, right?
Well, for starters, picture a booming economy, growing fast. Add to that a prime spot in Southeast Asia and a rising middle class with cash to spend. That's Indonesia in a nutshell. Opportunity is knockin'.
Okay, so we've got the why simmering, time to crank up the heat and bring on the numbers. This report, Table 1, it's got this breakdown of Danish trade with Indonesia going all the way back to 2019. And let me tell you, talk about a roller coaster. Between 2019 and 2023, Danish exports, they went from a respectable 1.578 billion, that's billion with a B, Danish kroner,
Okay, keeping up so far.
to a whopping 6.139 billion in 2022. Like,
Right.
what? But hold on, because then it takes a nosedive down to 1.711 billion in 2023. It's enough to give you trade data whiplash.
Yeah, you're not kidding. That's oh
Yeah.
wow. So what's the deal with these wild swings? Is it just like global chaos throwing things off?
Part of it, for sure. Global supply chains, they've been through the ringer lately. And then there's the whole big fish in a small pond effect, right? One massive contract could explain that 2022 spike, then things level out again.
Sure.
But here's the kicker. While all this export drama was unfolding, service exports from Denmark to Indonesia, steady climb upwards. Almost like a whole other conversation happening in the background.
Ooh, okay. So multiple plots twists already.
Right, and that's before we even get into how we're measuring all this trade. This report, it throws around terms like balance of payments, that's BB for all you acronym fans, and then there's external trade statistics, or UHV. Sounds a little inside baseball, but it turns out they paint two slightly different pictures of this whole trade relationship.
Oh, I'm sensing a statistics showdown brewing. Hit me with the difference. Why does it matter?
It's a real head-scratcher,
Yeah.
right? So imagine this. You've got a Danish company, right? They're making, I don't know, let's say super specialized wind turbine parts.
Mm-hmm.
But here's the thing. They're not making them in Denmark.
Okay, keeping up.
They've got a whole factory set up in, let's say, Malaysia.
Ah, I see where you're going with this.
Exactly. So those parts, they're shipped straight from Malaysia to Indonesia. Never see Danish soil. But under the balance of payments method, boom. Counted as Danish exports.
Because it's a Danish company doing the exporting, even if the manufacturing is happening elsewhere, it's like the whole world's their factory floor.
Exactly. Globalization in action, baby. But then you've got the external trade statistics method, which is like, nope, if it didn't cross a Danish border, it doesn't count. Two different lenses, two slightly different pictures of the same trade relationship. But hey, no more acronyms for now, I promise. Let's get back to the actual stuff being traded. 2023, Table 2, it's got this whole breakdown of the top export categories from Denmark to Indonesia. Any guesses?
Knowing Denmark, I'm tempted to say something in the pharmaceutical realm. Or maybe those fancy Danish design goods everyone's always raving about.
Good guesses.
Yeah.
But the actual winner might surprise you. Chemical materials and products. Clocking in at a cool 213.6 million Danish kroner.
Okay. Not what I expected, but makes sense.
Right. But hold your horses, because here comes the plot twist. Even though it snagged that top spot, exports in this category, they took a nosedive, down a whopping 72.1% compared to 2022. Talk about a fall from grace.
Wow, that eye's dramatic. What happened? Did someone find a better chemical supplier?
It makes you wonder, right? I mean, we're talking global economic slowdown,
Mustard.
possible shifts in Indonesian demand, maybe even some new competition popping up. It's a real head-scratcher. And get this, in 2023, Indonesia was only Denmark's 56th largest export market. 56.
Okay, so maybe not top of the trade partner list, but
Yeah.
hey, every relationship has room to grow, right?
Exactly. It's all about potential, right? But now, let's flip the script. What about those Indonesian goodies heading to Denmark? Top import. Get ready for this. Footwear.
Footwear, seriously, like sneakers and sandals.
The whole shebang. We're talking 429.6 million Danish kroner worth of shoes, my friend. That's a lot of happy feet.
I never would have guessed. So we've got Danish chemicals heading south, Indonesian shoes marching north. It's like a global trade conga line.
And the music never stops. But what about the future of this whole dance, right? Well, lucky for us, this report, it gives us a sneak peek into early 2024 data. And things are looking up.
Oh, do tell. What's the good news?
Fasten your seatbelts. In the first 7 months of 2024, Danish exports to Indonesia shot up a massive 82.7% compared to that same stretch in 2023.
Now, that's what I call a comeback. It's like Danish businesses found a secret shortcut into the Indonesian market, or maybe certain products just suddenly got a whole lot more appealing. Whatever it is, I'm curious to see if this momentum sticks around as we head into the rest of 2024 and beyond.
Right. It's like watching a whole new chapter unfold right before our eyes. But here's the thing. It's not just a one-way street, right? While exports are doing their victory dance, imports from Indonesia, they actually took a little dip, down 17.2% during that same period. So now we've got this really interesting contrast. Exports booming, imports slowing down. What's the deal?
Exactly. It's like they're doing the tango. And, with these early figures, it's always best not to jump to conclusions. It's like trying to call a football game at halftime. Anything could happen in the second half, right?
Totally. But still, even with that little disclaimer, this early 2024 data is giving us some pretty tantalizing clues about where things might be headed for Denmark and Indonesia.
Absolutely. This is why we love data, right? Always keeps us guessing. So for our listeners out there, those eager minds who are dying to know what the future holds for this dynamic duo, what would you say is the biggest takeaway from all of this?
You hit the nail on the head. It's dynamic. This Danish-Indonesian trade relationship is constantly changing, evolving. It's not just about the numbers, it's a living, breathing thing. And right now, it's telling a story of opportunity. Especially as Indonesia's middle class keeps growing, their wallets are getting thicker, and that spells potential for businesses who know how to tap into that.
Absolutely. But of course, it's not all sunshine and roses, right? We've got global uncertainty swirling around this increasing focus on sustainability. These are challenges for sure, but also opportunities in disguise, right, for those who can adapt and innovate.
It's like you always say, every challenge is just an opportunity wearing a disguise. But honestly, it's been amazing to see how these global trends we always hear about actually play out in a real-world trade relationship like this. And who knows, maybe this will inspire some of our listeners to go on their own deep dives.
There you go. Because that's what it's all about, right? Getting curious, digging into the details, and realizing that the world of trade, it's more exciting than a barrel of monkeys.
I think you just came up with our new tagline. But on that note, this has been one wild ride through the world of Danish-Indonesian trade. We've seen those numbers swing high, we've seen them dip low, we've explored the nitty-gritty of how it's all measured, and we even uncovered that surprising dominance of, wait for it, footwear imports.
Don't forget those chemicals, though. Who knew they were such hot commodities? But seriously, we've only just scratched the surface here. There's a whole universe of information out there, from the ins and outs of specific sectors like chemicals and footwear, to the broader economic and political forces that are shaping the global trade landscape. It's a never-ending story, really.
And that's the beauty of it. So for our listeners who are ready to take their knowledge to the next level, where should they head next? What rabbit holes should they dive down?
Well, if today's conversation sparked your interest in a particular area, like chemical manufacturing or the ever-so-stylish world of footwear, I say dive right in. Research those industries, learn about the key players, the trends, the challenges, or maybe you're more intrigued by the bigger picture stuff like Indonesia's economic outlook or Denmark's trade policies. There's the whole buffet of knowledge out there just waiting to be devoured.
Think of it like a choose-your-own-adventure, but for trade nerds. You get to pick your own path, explore at your own pace, and who knows? Maybe your next deep dive will uncover even more surprising connections and insights. Until then, happy exploring, everyone.